Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back everyone. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to give a little update video today to let you guys all know how the last 2 weeks have kind of gone. Last week I returned to work after 9 months of maternity leave, and the week before that Fatima started her childcare. You'll probably know that I was feeling pretty anxious and pretty stressed and pretty emotional. So the plan was for Fatima to attend nursery for 3 days a week. Settling in sessions at the nursery didn't really go very well, and Fatima was just not herself. She was very distressed and was not interacting and just being the way that I know her to be. It was never going to be an easy transition. She spent every single moment of every single day with me since the day she was born. But I was really taken aback by how distressed she was and how uncomfortable she seemed in that environment. Staff at the nursery kept reassuring me that this is normal, that it happens, that some babies take longer than others, and that it would all be fine and she would be okay. After the second day, Fatima got really sick, and she'd actually caught gastroenteritis. When I called the nursery the next day, they confirmed that gastroenteritis had been going around the nursery. She's never really been in ill health since she was born, and she was violently ill, and it was really horrible. Then I caught it and I got incredibly unwell. Between us, we were pretty grim. Straight away it put my husband off. He was saying, I don't want her to go back there. It's, you know, she's going to get sick all of the time. We're going to spend all of our time coming out of work because she's not well. I did try and explain to him that, you know, this is going to happen and she needs to build her immunity, and kids do get sick when they mix with other kids, like it just happens. Because of the illness, she wasn't allowed back in the nursery for 48 hours, and she missed the rest of her settling in period and her first full day. My husband and I had a few conversations about how we were feeling, and we were both just feeling really uncomfortable with the decision that we'd made. It was a matter of days before I was starting back at work, and it was kind of too late to put an alternative plan in place. We started speaking about the possibility of getting a nanny to come at home, and we just felt that it would ease Fatima into childcare because she could be in her own environment and in the place that she knows with the things that are familiar to her. To go from being just with me to going to be in a nursery with lots of other babies and lots of different faces, we were starting to feel like this was just way too much of a jump for her. Allah has plans that are greater than anything that we could know, and even though things had gone wrong, I really felt like they'd gone wrong for a reason. Nothing happens without a purpose. The following week, which was then the Monday and the day before I was due back to work, I took her back for another settling in session, and it was just awful. Like, I've never seen her so upset in all my life, and I couldn't physically bear it. And even though I felt like a really overbearing mother, and I felt like everyone was like, get a grip of yourself, like babies do this all the time, my gut was like wrenching, and I went home and sobbed to my husband. I said, I cannot leave her in this place. I cannot do it. I'd actually got into contact with a lady over the weekend that worked as a nanny. I called her and asked if she could meet me that afternoon. SubhanAllah, it is so crazy how things turn out. But I went to meet her. As soon as I walked up to her, having not even spoken to her, I just felt this weight drop from my shoulders. Basically, long story short, I really had a good feeling about this person. Fatima seemed to respond really well to her. Lots of boxes were being ticked, and I just felt really positive about it. Something was telling me just to take a risk. Just take a risk, because it doesn't need to be forever, and it just felt like the right thing to do. So basically, at the very last moment, we completely changed the plan. Withdrew Fatima from the nursery, and I employed this nanny. Alhamdulillah, I cannot even tell you how well it went. My biggest concern had been Fatima and being sure that she was in the right place. So Fatima was completely and utterly fine with the nanny. She didn't cry once, she didn't get distressed. Considering she'd never met this woman before, she was completely comfortable. She sent me lots of pictures and lots of messages and little video clips. So once the childcare was sorted out and I felt much more comfortable and relaxed with that, then I had to kind of get myself into work mode. It was really, really difficult returning to the workplace. I think part of me felt like nothing had ever changed, like I'd never been away, like nothing life-changing had happened to me, that I was just back where I started in a sense. And there was something mildly depressing about that, and there was also something strangely familiar and comforting about that. I was incredibly preoccupied because, to be honest, all I could think about was my baby girl. It felt like each hour that I was there, I was kind of unlocking the professional side of my brain. You suddenly find that your language has been very mum and baby related. You know, you've been talking in baby voice for the last however many months, and suddenly that language that you use in that particular place starts to come back, and people are starting to have professional conversations with you. It all feels a little bit sort of unnerving, but kind of exciting, but kind of challenging. It's a whole mix of emotions really, and I definitely have felt quite split in two. So I guess what I've learned from this whole experience so far is that motherhood is just going to be one massive journey of learning to let go. I had to let go of my daughter, and I had to leave her in somebody else's care, and I had to trust that person, and that wasn't easy actually, and I'm still not going to find that very easy. Fatima's just woken up from her nap, by the way, so she is just playing down here, so if you hear any strange sound effects, that is why. So I definitely feel, even after only 1 week, I feel like working has made me much more efficient, and it's meant that I've utilised every little bit of my time. I've had to be quite organised. It has meant that I've had very, very little, if any, time for myself or time to just breathe and relax. I feel like I now just want to embrace every single little moment that I have with Fatima. Every moment has been like a blessing, from the simplest things like giving her a bath, like rather than do it kind of half-heartedly because it's part of a routine that has to be done, I'm now enjoying the moment. I think it's so easy as parents and as mothers to focus on the negative things with our children, to focus on the things that they don't do. I think it's so important to really absorb, you know, how much of a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala they are. We have to take advantage of the time that we have with them whilst we still have it. I think, you know, we wake up in the morning and we thank Allah for another day, but do we do that for our children? Do we thank Allah every day that He's gifted us another day with our children? You know, when you are away from your child for an hour, for an afternoon, for a day, it really, really makes you appreciate them so much more. Now somebody else is caring for my child. It allows me to look at her from a different perspective. I just feel incredibly proud of her. I feel really proud that, you know, I come home and the nanny says that she's been a delight to be with and that it's a real pleasure to look after her. It just makes me feel warm inside, you know. That just, I think as mums we very rarely praise ourselves, and we very rarely recognise the good that we do and the hard work that we do. So what have I learnt from this experience Islamically, and how has this last couple of weeks kind of taught me things about my faith? Well, I know as an individual that I spent a lot of my life searching to fill a void inside of myself, trying to heal wounds from the past to help me feel more content and complete as a person. And I guess a lot of that started to heal and feel better when I found Islam. Islam has definitely helped me to refocus, but old habits die hard, right? And I still find myself in situations sometimes where I'm looking for things that will fill spaces that I have. Sometimes you have to stop and you have to reflect and you have to re-evaluate how you feel. And I was really struggling with letting go of Fatima. I was really struggling with the idea, you know, of being away from her at all, of leaving, of trusting anybody to be with her, of, you know, seeing myself as anything other than her mother. I constantly talked about her attachment to me and how she was going to struggle to be away from me, when in reality it was me that was struggling with my attachment to her. You know, the love that I have felt for this girl has overwhelmed me, and so now I feel like I really need to check in with myself, and I really need to be careful that I don't look to my daughter to fill any form of emptiness that I feel inside of myself. I can't look to her to make me feel complete. That's just like a bit of an awakening, I guess. And I think I just need to remember that, you know, perhaps, you know, Fatima has taught me the greatest love that I could ever know, but she's done that through Allah. Allah has brought her into my life to teach me many things, but it's only through Allah. It's not her, it's through Allah. And however attached I feel to her, however much love I have for her, however much I want to give her as my daughter, I just need to be sure that the true attachment that I have, the true love that I have, the true commitment that I have is with and for Allah. If you fill your heart with these relationships to the point where they overwhelm you, then you are not leaving space for Allah. And that's something that I have really been thinking about these last few days, because I think it's healthy to be attached to your children, and I think it's healthy to have a strong bond and a strong connection with them, but not so much so that you lose all sense of perspective. So I guess the last couple of weeks have been a bit of an adventure, haven't they, babe? We've learned a lot, we've changed a lot, we've reconnected with each other in a different way, and as hard as these last 2 weeks have been, I'm grateful for them, because they've really taught me so much about myself and about just about what being a mom really is. And I'm not sure what our future plans are or how long I will remain in this job. We will see, but for now, you know, it's a new chapter, and we're just gonna look forward. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? And we're just gonna have great times together, and we're just gonna kiss each other and cuddle each other and love each other so much, because we miss each other, don't we? Mwah. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all the people who've supported me. There were a lot of really lovely sisters that left so many comments on my last weekly vlog, and I really appreciated it. We will be back soon, not really sure what with, but we'll get thinking about that. I'm definitely going to be doing some more vlogs. You got anything else you want to say to the peeps? Yeah? What do you want to tell them? You had a good week? Did you have a good week? As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum. Mummy really loves you. Mummy really loves you. Mummy really loves you. Yes.